Hi, I'm Joe Connolly. Welcome to the WCBS studios. I have with me today Ralph Meyer, the regional manager for BNB Bank for Nassau, Queens, and New York City. That's a big area.
It certainly is.
How did you get started in banking, Ralph?
Wow, I'll tell you, 1983. My wife, who was a couple years older than me, was a head teller at a small bank, Roosevelt Savings Bank, and asked me if I wanted a part-time job as a teller while I was going to school, and she actually started my career for me.
Wow. So you started as a part-time teller.
I started as a part-time teller in the Massapequa Park branch of Roosevelt Savings Bank.
And now you manage a whole big region.
Yeah, now I oversee a market that includes Manhattan, Queens, Nassau County, which encompasses 9 branches in total, and yeah, I guess I've come a long way since the part-time teller days.
It's like the story of the intern becoming the CEO 20 years later.
Absolutely, and you know what? I can't tell you how those times as a part-time teller really helped in my career. Being able to go through a host of positions throughout the bank really was beneficial for me.
What do you remember about your first full-time job, or what's one of your first memories of being a professional career banker?
Well, I guess when I reached the assistant manager ranks, also at that bank, which is now part of the New York Community Bank umbrella, I remember being a young, at that time, 22-year-old, being an assistant manager and overseeing people who, back in those days, you had very, very large staffs. It's much different banking environment than it is now. But you had 14, 15 people, and you were this 22-year-old kid overseeing people who were really much older than you in most cases. But I remember all of the mentors that I had, growing up in banking, and how all of those people helped shape my career.
How's the economy in your region now? What are you seeing in the Nassau, Queens, Manhattan market?
Well, the bank's philosophy is now that since we are, BNB Bank is a bank that not too long ago was strictly an East End bank. We had 29 offices that were east of Melville. Over the last 3 years, we've made significant growth through acquisition and organic growth into Nassau County, Queens, and Manhattan. So we see the economy as a few quick things. Unemployment is low. We see, interest rates have sort of stabled a little bit. We don't think the Fed's going to be making any moves on that. But the growth for our bank is certainly in the Western markets, whether we're looking at offices in Queens. Obviously, if you look at Long Island City, who's moving to Long Island City? Amazon. And obviously, we're looking in that area as well. We just opened in Astoria about a year ago. That branch is doing very, very well. So we see the growth for our bank continuing to be in the Western markets.
What's fueling the growth that you're seeing? What industries? What's happening?
I think it's across the board. Whether it's manufacturing, whether it's restaurants, I think it runs the gamut. Sort of like the bank, we really look at all areas in terms of when we're banking people, when we're lending to people. We don't pigeonhole in any way. So we see that our businesses, which are really the small to mid-sized type business, that they need access to capital. And we are the bank that can do that through a host of different areas, whether it's commercial mortgages, SBA lending, equipment finance, lines of credit for working capital. The bank offers a host of lending products that can help a business grow.
How does a bank that's growing from the East End to Manhattan stay local, Ralph? What's the secret? What's the trick?
It's something that Kevin O'Connor, our president and CEO, absolutely is passionate about. We are a growing bank, and keep in mind, we're nearing a $5 billion institution, which I use the adage all the time. Compared to the mega banks of the world, we're a rounding error. However, we're very, very comfortable with that. We're comfortable with who we are. We're comfortable, and although we may not be a big bank, we have all the bells and whistles of the bigger banks in terms of technology, lending capability. So we are very, very comfortable in who we are, as an institution.
And that is how your small business clients are successful too, I bet. by dealing with a small business or a smaller bank, you don't lose anything.
No, no.
You pick up something.
What you pick up is, if you and I have a personal checking account, you and I have a business checking account. We write a check. You have money in your account, that check clears. All of the banks offer very, very similar products. It's really all in the delivery of that, and that is really through the people that work for us. We are just passionate about being involved in the communities, not getting ahead of ourselves. We are very comfortable with who we are as an institution.
And you have, I think, compared to other banks, less turnover, right?
Oh, wow. That's one of the things I think we're proudest of. In the branch manager ranks alone, over the last 3 years, we've had 0 resignations. And I think that speaks volumes about the bank, about the passion we have for that, and that all resonates from the top of the house. That comes right from our CEO. Kevin is a very employee-centric individual. I mean, we're really proud. I don't know if you've known Joe, but not too long ago, we were voted one of the best places to work on Long Island in mid-sized companies by both Long Island Business News and Newsday, which I really just think volumes, about how the bank is, how the bank feels about its employees. Because make no mistake about it, clients are important, but employees of the bank being happy is also as important.
What to you comes to mind from the phrase, I love the slogan, community banking from Montauk to Manhattan. What does community banking bring to your mind?
Well, I think the word itself says it. It's community. There's all different levels of banks. There's mega banks, regional banks, and then there's the smaller community banks. And that's just what it is. We serve in so many ways, whether it's the banking side, whether it's the community involvement side. We serve the communities that we are a part of. And that's why the managers of our branches are very, very involved in the communities that they serve. I can't tell you the amount of organizations that our organization supports on a yearly basis. Quite honestly, it's overwhelming sometimes. But you watch on a Saturday or a Sunday, Kevin O'Connor is at an event, a branch manager is at an event, a teller is at an event. I mean, the amount of organizations that we support is really a testament to the whole philosophy of the bank.
I was just going to ask you a couple of other questions. Do you, as a regional manager, do you go to a lot of Chamber of Commerce and real estate board meetings, or more than I can count? Or are you sitting in an office somewhere, in a skyscraper in Manhattan, maybe? It comes down once a day to go home on the train.
We are working management people. That is at BNB Bank. One thing that you'll find, especially in the management ranks, is there are 0 egos, and that's right from the top. We are all at varying events, 2 or 3 nights a week, sometimes more. But that's how, we all have a sales role within the bank. We all have to make sure that we're prominent in the communities that we serve. So we are out. Not just the management team. I'm talking the entire staff of the bank is out constantly, networking, talking about the bank, promoting the bank, supporting organizations. We're out all the time.
What do you like most about going to a good business meeting?
Well,
chamber, real estate, whatever.
I have to tell you, there is nothing better than sitting with a new prospect, hearing about their business, telling about the BNB Bank story, talking about what we can do together, what synergies we have to come together and have a true relationship. That's what we are. We are a relationship bank. We're not sometimes you hear, we're not a transactional bank. Sometimes there are banks that will be, hey, we'll do a loan for you, and then, okay, we kind of move on. No, we're a relationship bank. We take on your business, you become our personal clients, and then we grow together.
But it's just, talking business. And when I started to cover business, I realized, this is just like talking sports. There's always a new story. It never gets old if you like talking business, right?
Absolutely. And we love talking business. And I have to tell you, one of the things that makes us different from some of the other banks out there, and believe me when I say there are great banks out there, but they all serve different purposes. Somebody comes to us and says, "I need a $150 million line of credit." It's not our world, right? We know what we're good at, right? So we know if you need something from $500,000 to $18 million, although we have lending capacity to $60 million, we kind of know what our sweet spot is. But it's always evolving. We're always getting referrals. We're always referring, to businesses that we deal with as well. So there's always a story that's going on. It's always evolving. It's always changing, and it's always exciting.
Well, it's interesting that you used a word that I was going to bring up, and I didn't think that I would use the word that a lot of banks have really big egos, but you used it. And that's my impression, is that most of the people I meet from BNB are not big ego people, and that's one reason I like getting to know all of you.
Well, thank you, and it's really something that we pride ourselves on. We love what we do. We are passionate about what we do, and we have grown and built a really great brand in BNB Bank.